Howdy, howdy. So I wanted to talk about jackets today and how I think they could actually boost your confidence, at least from my experience. So this is, before I begin, this is kind of like, this is going to be the first video on a side channel I'm doing. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this on my main channel because my main channel is focused on like gaming mainly and like creative stuff I do, development or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be turning 40 soon. And like, I have a lot of thoughts that go on in the head. And sometimes I just go on these like spiels on social media, like threads, like whatever I'm thinking, whatever comes up. I have a lot of like stories to tell from when I was younger too, just different things. So I was like, you know what? It might be good to do like a side channel where I show people who I am, like, you know, the meat self, because a lot of people online, I have a lot of friends that are online, and a lot of people interact with like a virtual representation of me. Like they interact with I have a VTuber avatar, I'm in VR chat, I'm in a lot of online spaces. So a lot of what people know of me when they're interacting with me, a lot of it is like the online self, like a virtual self and everything, and not so much my meat self. There's not too much difference though, really. But I thought it would be good, just because sometimes, because of the only online interactions, or maybe people only only observe certain things from me through the internet, people may have, come to wrong conclusions sometimes, or if they're only getting like the surface representation of you, like through virtual interactions and stuff, it's sometimes kind of hard to figure out, you know, who you actually are, if that makes sense. So I was thinking, okay, you know, I do have a lot of thoughts and things I like to talk about. So I think it would be good to actually show people, you know, to have a side channel, the meat. I'm going to call this the meat channel. No, I'm not actually going to call that, but this is the flesh tubing channel. And I may occasionally make use of VR chat or something to show up in my VR avatars, but I actually think it's good. I want to make a channel where I just show me as me, you know. I have a lot of friends that are long distance or I only know online, and not too many people around anymore locally. That doesn't mean I don't go out and I don't talk to people or anything. I still run into people and still have interactions with people in real life, but a lot of friends I used to know and coworkers and everything like that, not so much anymore. And a lot of my life, a lot of things I do, they are in a digital space, and so a lot of my friends, the people I talk to, it's online. So I don't get to really interact with this version of me that much. So that's why I kind of wanted to do this channel. And I also think that when it comes to sharing your thoughts on stuff, social media kind of sucks. And the kind of social media that I'm talking about, I'm going to get to the jackets, by the way. The main point of the video, I will get to the jackets, but now that I'm all warmed up talking, I can finally, you know, let it all out for a little bit. That's what this channel is for. The ADHD all spilling out. It does come out in my streams too, because I feel like streaming is also a good format for letting all your thoughts, all that thought vomit, let it all out. Let it all out when you're streaming. And, you know, people use YouTube. You know, they use like vlogging and stuff, whatever you want to call it, to do that as well, to let their thoughts out. So that's what I'm doing. But I don't like social media. The Twitter likes. Even Blue Sky. I like Blue Sky. It's much better than Twitter, that's for sure. I'll occasionally touch Twitter just for very specific purposes now. But my problem with putting your thoughts out on places like that is like just outside of the way interactions tend to be in those places, a lot of stuff gets buried and lost, and it actually ends up being harder to find again. I feel like videos are a good way. And also, like, when you do videos talking about your thoughts, you're injecting the humanness back in when you're talking about stuff. People can actually, whether using like a virtual avatar or your meat self, people can see you. They see you, a human being, or a human being behind like a virtual representation of you, talking about the stuff, about your thoughts, the things that you believe in, stories about your life, whatever it is, versus text threads on social media, which just get lost in the void, and, you know, people you don't intend to see it end up seeing it and then replying to it or whatever. I don't know. Social media sucks. I think that's why it's good to have start doing a channel like this. And I've been seeing other people mention this too, because Now, I'm someone that actually likes technology. And, you know, I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to technological advancements and how it affects people, right? You know, in this day and age, the positives and negatives. And I do see people going, it would be good, you know, given the anxieties that a lot of people have right now, how divisive things are when it comes to tech being incorporated into the way people share themselves and you know, being creative and things like that. There's some people, like on YouTube especially, that say, hey, it would be good to, it's good to do videos and content where you're just being you. You're showing your human self. You're sharing that self, the real self, or whatever, with whoever will listen. And honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna get people that will be interested in watching this channel, but I know people who watch my streams get exposed to the thought vomit. You know, sometimes I'll go on tangents. Like I said, it's a good format for it. So, if you're the kind of person, maybe who's previously watched me and would like me to see talk about stuff like that, but in the meat self, well, here you go. This is a channel for it. Now, let me get on to jackets. This is the purpose of this channel, because I want to share things. I want to share things about my life, like actual real life that, and I think it would be good. You know, there are a lot of things going on right now, and if you feel like you're not making much of a difference, or you don't know how you can do a good, I'm not good with words. How can I do a good? How can I feel good? How can I do a good for other people? Well, for one, find ways to make yourself feel good, and when you find those ways to make yourself feel good, share it with other people so that maybe they can feel good too. Not a guarantee, but this is why I'm going to talk about jackets. Now, if you're someone who's known me for an extended amount of time, you know I have a big thing with jackets. They don't even have to be expensive jackets, because the thing with jackets is more about how they look. You could even get bootlegs. There's like fake versions of stuff that exist out there that have a certain look. There's like, you know, bootleg, fake leather, whatever it is. And when I talk about jackets, I'm not talking about some random no personality thing that you get to keep yourself warm or whatever. I'm talking about something that is you, that looks like you, that represents you, that has personality, that has some style or fashion to it. And there are, like I said, you can find stuff that doesn't cost that much. It's all just about the style of it, really, and how it looks on you. And sometimes it can mean a lot, you know, when you're going out and you're among people who don't even know you. And it's something I've experienced. However, my first experience with jackets, exploring, like, you know, wearing stuff that may change people's surface level perception of you, started out negatively, because now, like I said, I'm someone that grew up, I will be turning 40 next year. I'm 39. So I'm someone who grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, all that. And, you know, jackets were a big thing, like coats, certain style coats and everything like that. And a lot of what people would wear would be influenced by the media that they consume, or maybe the music that they listen to. So, for example, here's a negative thing. It's unfortunate. Negative or positive, depending on how you look at it. But my first journey into wearing something like a jacket or a coat that represented my personality, or sort of like basically wearing some part of my personality on the outside, was trench coats. Trench coats. Oh, poor trench coats have a bad reputation. I don't know if they still have a negative. I don't know. It's mixed. When it comes to trench coats. Now, when I'm talking about this stuff, if I can dig up pictures, some pictures of me wearing some of this clothing or things I used to wear, I'll try and post them with the video too. But otherwise, I'll just talk about it, and you can just sort of imagine or do research some of these things, these items that have existed back in the 90s or the 2000s. But I don't actually know how I came across my first trench coat. It is kind of weird too, because for those who know me a little bit closely, way more closely, I had a very strict religious upbringing. So it is very wild how I was able to get away with the things that I got away with wearing when I was growing up in like the middle school and high school. But a lot of it happened at school, and then when I got home, that shit would come off. But school, that's why school, I valued school even though I wasn't the best kid. Like I was one of those kids that was well behaved, but I was like a delinquent in other ways. Like I'm not gonna call myself an idiot savant or anything, but I was in that sort of thing where I could do well if I wanted to. I could be a good kid, but I would hang out with like the rougher crowd instead, and I would be a clown or a little jackass. I never hurt anyone. I was never bad at anyone. I just was like, I would get in trouble at school. Sometimes I would do things, but you know, not always get caught because I was a good kid. Like, I couldn't do those things. It couldn't have been me. But yeah, I was that kind of person. And part of that was because of the strict upbringing at home and not being able to be a kid as much as I wanted to where I lived. So a lot of that expressing oneself and really putting I think that's actually probably why I would get into, I would lean into the subculture stuff. You know, like being a goth or getting into the rock stuff or being grungy, punk, anything like that. Actually, now I think about it, I think that stuff started in the middle school maybe because I was someone who really liked music. So now I think about it, my first jacket probably was like jean jackets. And a lot of people who were into like the 80s and the early 90s, like the big hair bands and stuff like that, a lot of people were into like jean jackets. So that's probably before the trench coat. I did the jean jackets, and now I think about it, it was still a positive thing. It's so funny how jackets specifically, it's so funny how it changes people's perception of you or what information they derived from things that you like and your personality. Because like, yeah, when I started wearing jean jackets, now you think about it, in middle school, and like I was always a kid with the headphones in all the time. I walking around with the CD player. I was always listening to music, so I would be wearing like I had the jean jacket and the music and everything, and like I listen to rock music and stuff. And I remember like some kids and even some of my teachers are like, "You look like a Guns N' Roses groupie," like that. That's not a negative thing, but so yeah, people will think certain things about you depending on what you wear. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? But jackets especially, like, they can do so much. Like, when I get into, I'm going to talk about it later because, you know, like, later adventures of wearing certain types of jackets and what it does to people, like how it causes people to, like, maybe stop and look at you or change their perception of you. But, it's so funny how, like, let's just say you could be a trash goblin of a human being. You could feel like, oh, I'm not in a good situation, or I think so little of myself, or I'm nothing. I'm just like a scrawny little scrunt of a human being or whatever. But honestly, like, from my experience, and I've been through a lot of rough stuff in my life too. I didn't have a great upbringing. I was often poor a lot, didn't have a lot of money or anything like that. But it's faking works. Like, that's the thing with the jacket stuff, is that sometimes if you fake that you're actually doing okay, in some ways it's kind of like it helps you in a way if you're like, especially if you're wearing something that you really like. And like I said, it doesn't have to be the real thing. It could be like a fake ass jacket that looks like something you really like. You put it on, you know, go out there amongst people and, you know, actually, like, you know, you could pretend to have confidence. Pretend to try and look cool or whatever. And that may be enough. That'd be enough to actually make you feel good. Because people get tricked. People will get tricked by it. That's my experience. It's just unfortunate, though. Going back to the trench coat stuff, when I used to wear trench coats, is back in, I want to say it was early 2000s. So I don't know, I can't remember, as obviously, trench coats ended up having a negative reputation because there was a school shooting that happened, a very well-known one. And then there's also the Matrix movie. So, and I experienced both of that the reputation of wearing a trench coat. It was either you're going to kill me, or you are Trinity from the Matrix, or Neo or something. You're a weird nerd that likes sci-fi and tries to look cool. Either way, trench coats are they're too divisive. I love them, and I don't know if people wear those kind of trench coats anymore. Like, it's not like, because you can get, there are long jackets that you can get, usually like menswear or something. There's like the brown long coats that are good for like cold weather or rain or something like that. Sometimes you'll see businessmen wearing those. It's not quite those. It's a very, I don't know if I have any pictures of it, but if I find it, I can probably post it. But there was like a particular style of like a black trench coat that would have the weird associations with it. And I did, despite some bullying over the trench coat and people being having, not sure. It would cause people to be afraid of me sometimes if they weren't close friends, like people who didn't quite know me. Did get intimidated by me, and then the people who actually give me a chance and sit with me and actually get to know me and talk to me, like, oh yeah, you're not going to kill me. You're a big fucking doof or whatever. You're just a little clown, or you're a little nerd or whatever. That's how it was. And it's like, oh yeah, you're not, you're okay. I just like to look good, or I don't know if trench coats though. Do trench coats make you look good these days? I don't know. But, I did do trench coats for, I want to say, until like 2004, 2005. And I would walk around town even after I got out of school. When I was working and stuff like that, I still styled trench coats for a while. I even did, I feel like such an edgelord. I was definitely that kind of person. Such a nerdy edgelord for, what I did. But because I was someone who liked art, I would make my own, they have these things that you can iron on, like decals and stuff on the clothing. I might have a picture of it, but I would do one side that was like an angel wing, like a decal angel wing, and like a devil wing, and maybe like a demon face in the middle, a decal thing on the back of the trench coat that I had. And when I think about it now, holy shit, does that make me look like a fucking edgelord? But that's the look I was trying to go for. And I guess the exciting thing about it though is that even if it pushes people away, other people will think you look cool. Other people, and that was my experience. And the thing with the jacket stuff too is, and I'll probably mention it again later, but the main thing that I think is interesting to do if you have a fashionable jacket, or a trench coat, maybe if you want to try it, is walk around town with the jacket and see what happens. Go walking, if you're not used to walking, please walk. Walking's good, by the way. You find so many interesting things and interesting people and random shit even on the fucking street or whatever. Like you can find the weirdest stuff, interesting sights, if you just go out and walk around town. Ditch the car, ditch the bike or whatever. Go on foot. It's enjoyable. It's good for you. But, you should do that with a good jacket and see what happens. See how people react to you, because it's always been an interesting experience for me. That's why even these days, I've been getting back into jackets again. Like these kind of jackets, more like leathery kind of jackets and stuff. But, I'm jumping around. I'm sorry. But it's sort of what I've been doing now. Yeah, walking, going out, nice weather, walking around with a nice jacket on me is what I'll do. Is I'll also, I'll kind of walk like with confidence, put a little pep in my step. I might go down and get me like a tea or a coffee, so I got that in my hand, and then I got the music playing, and I'm walking around town like I'm having the best fucking time of my life. Even if I'm not having the best time of my life, like even if things aren't going that great for me, when I'm out and I got the jacket on, just for a bit, for like an hour or so, I can just sort of like put it out there, broadcast to other people that I've got it going on. People notice that. And it actually might make them feel good too. You might get weird. I don't know if I've gotten weird looks though. Like people, I haven't gotten any like mistreatment like in these recent like in the recent years getting back into jackets again. You get compliments. People will get like a vibe from you. It's been mostly positive. Even fucking old ladies. I go walk or I go out somewhere, I go to the mall, go visit wherever, wearing the nice jacket or whatever, and you got that, like, you exude that confidence. You fake it, even if you're faking it. Even if you're faking the confidence, people notice. Old people, they notice. They compliment. It's great, you know? So, I think that's like, and people who have known me closely have known what a rough fucking time, ordeal I've been going in the past I don't know, it's been like 5 years or something of the kind of stuff I'm dealing with. And now I'm like, after I'm trying to get through it, I'm trying to go back to the mindset and the feel that I had when I was in my 20s. Early 20s, you know, that time, you know, maybe post wearing the trench coat when I started veering into leather jackets. And I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of pictures of when I was wearing, when I finally started getting the leather jackets. And it's an interesting experience. Yeah. And I think my first actual leather jacket, there's different kinds. You can get ones that are fake too, and they still look good. You can actually get some at thrift stores, you know, because I don't know how many people wear actual leather jackets anymore. So you might actually be able to find a legit leather jacket at like a Goodwill or a thrift store or something like that. Look around. They're there. You don't have to buy a new one. And even if you have to buy something that's fake, like I said, as long as it actually looks good on you and it makes you feel good to wear it, that's okay. But my first adventure wearing leather jackets was when I used to live in California, like northern area. You don't want to wear leather when it's hot. That's the only downside. They don't breathe that well. So if you live in a really hot area, it's going to be hard for you. You might want to stick with like a light utility jacket. Utility jackets are really nice, by the way. I've worn those too. Or you want to do like a jean jacket or something that's more breathable. But a lot of that stuff, even utility jackets, a lot of those, the look of it, a lot of those kind of jackets have influence. A lot of movies, you know, a lot of stars from movies and stuff like that also helped with the popularity, musicians and things like that, popularity of certain kind of jackets. But yeah, when I lived in Northern California, I got into leather jackets, and I would walk. I would walk all the time. Like when I was young, I've always been someone that walked a lot, and like I said, it's good for you, good for the mind. Especially if you got music that you can listen to and just sort of like, you know, focus your thoughts, reflect on things while you're walking around, look at scenery and whatever. I've been that way since I was young. Never really had a car, bike or anything. Bikes was a brief period of disaster for me, so I decided to stick with my feet because I can control them. But yeah, walking around has always been a thing for me. Always walk around town, everything like that. So when I got into leather jackets and I started walking around town when I had the time, I would get compliments. Like people, and I think I have of course I gotta show a picture if I haven't shown it already. In my opinion, I definitely looked way better back then. I mean, I'm almost 40. It's understandable. Life has hit me with the fucking bat, a few times. Knocked a few things loose. But you know, in my early 20s, I do think I looked good. Also with the leather jacket. So I would walk around town with that. And, you know, people with cars compliment me and everything like that. Or when you go around, you run into people like, you know, it just it's a real confidence booster. Like I said, you walk around with a pep your step and a fucking jacket on you. Nice looking jacket. It's just like, it feels good. It feels real good, and then you might actually make people around you feel good too, because you're exuding like this vibe, you know? People think you look cool. You can fake looking cool. Yeah, you know, you can fake it. You can fake it. If it helps you out, if it makes you, you know, makes you feel good mentally if you get, it gives you some kind of little confidence to carry you through the day. I did have a funny incident, though, while living in California, and this is probably, like, not surprising considering how popular Arnold Schwarzenegger is in California and his movies and everything like that. And this was, like, I want to say, like, sometime after 2005. Might have been 2006, 2007. So I don't know what Terminator movie was out or what number it's been passed around that time. But, it is kind of funny that I'm mentioning this because I have been, if people know me now, I've been through, like, recently in the past few months or so, getting back into Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff again, like movies and everything like that. So when I was, like, you know, thinking of his movies and watching him stuff, just general indulgence into Schwarzenegger stuff, I had the memory of what happened one time when I was in California wearing my leather jacket, a reaction that somebody had, and it was funny. I don't think I laughed back then because I thought it was, like, weird, and I don't know if it's supposed to be a negative or a positive thing, but one time, when I was casually going into a pharmacy's got a lot of, like, random shit, like snacks or whatever. I was probably walking around town and needed, like drinks or snacks or whatever they carry. So I walked into a pharmacy. Sunglasses, because sunglasses is something I also would wear. I forgot to mention that, even with the trench coat. That also made the image even more, I guess, edgy, if you want to call it, because I would also wear, like, different kinds of sunglasses. I'm also someone that's known for wearing different kinds of sunglasses, too. How could I not mention that? Worn sunglasses on my face all my life, you know? And even in situations I didn't call for it. But yeah, dark sunglasses, black leather jacket, walking into, and also probably, like, you know, everything else was dark color too. So I'm walking in, to this pharmacy. I'm not exactly, an extrovert, and I don't think I was that much of one back then, especially. I'd mind my own fucking business. I sometimes talk to people. Back then, I was younger, but I was definitely more introvert, and I would just, don't look at anyone else, just focus on what you need to do and get the fuck out of there. I remember walking in such a way, and then I remember hearing an old lady or something from the side saying, "The Terminator." I'm like, what? When I walked in, I was like, wow, do I look like Arnie going in there? I just thought it was funny. Like, being in California, wearing something like that, and someone's immediate thought is the Terminator. But that I guess that goes to show how popular those movies are, how popular the image is of someone like that wearing the iconic look of the shades and the black leather jacket and the jeans and whatever he wore, the image of it. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know how long I did the leather jackets, but I definitely, as I got older, I think when I started hitting my 30s, I started toned down a bit. And part of that was, I think, well, I'd gotten into a relationship, someone I'm still with for a very long time. I think I got with my current partner, when I was in my early 20s, but as time went on, it sort of like started toning down on the edgelord look, I guess. So maybe that's because I was spending more time with someone where I didn't need to really like put myself out like that so much. I was working too, I'm not gonna be wearing that stuff at work. So most of my time is divided between working and spending most of my time with that person. So I didn't really have the need as much to look like the fucking egglord, cool, bad person, whatever. Bad dude. And I definitely toned down a lot. But going back into my late, I want to say mid-30s, and going on to now, I started getting back into I started getting back into jean jackets again. Not sure what happened. I think it's just like, I probably had a midlife crisis a little bit when I had my, mid-30s. And so I was like, man, I really miss my early 20s and like the way I looked and stuff. And honestly, mentally, I don't think I've ever gotten past my 20s. Like, I'm probably mentally, I've got the experience of probably the fucking trauma from being as old as I am now, like getting towards my 40s. and whatever I went through. But I mentally, sometimes I just like, you know, in terms of my energy and the things I'm into and everything, I still feel like I'm stuck in like at 25. I'm still stuck in like mid-20s, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And that's probably, that's probably the case for a lot of other people too. No matter how old they are, there might be a part of them that's just like, you know what, I'm always going to be this. That's not changing. That's not changing. So, but yeah, I think when I started hitting I want to call it the midlife crisis, maybe towards mid to late 30s, getting back into the jean jackets again, and it started making me feel good. I was wearing utility jackets a little bit before that. I'm not sure what I think I had a Kmart, because Kmart started to go clearance. Well, they were dying some time ago. I want to say like sometime after 2015, sometime after that. The Kmart started dying, so a lot of stuff was going on clearance, and then I saw this like utility jacket, which, you know, the only way I can describe a utility jacket is just think of the kind of jacket that James wears in Silent Hill 2. That's an example of that. I even had, they have like pockets for like, you can probably even put like one of those flashlights in the pocket or whatever. They have a very particular look. And the one that I found that was on clearance is actually pretty hard to find now. And it's a little beat up now, so I had to retire it. But I liked it because they're very lightweight. They're not heavy like jean or leather jackets. They can be very lightweight, great for warmer weather or working in or whatever you want to do in them. So I did wear utility jackets for a while, and then eventually I was like, you know what? I miss wearing jean jackets. Got back in the jean jackets. They made me feel good. And then eventually, I couldn't resist the leather. This is not real leather, by the way. This is actually a bootleg Ducati jacket. I forgot where I got it from, but I didn't have to chop off an arm or a leg to actually get it. But I've had an aesthetic for a while. This is sort of inspired by the VTuber avatar that people probably know me by, that I use for various things, of VTubing, VR chat, or whatever. But the aesthetic of it's an Android avatar they use, and the aesthetic of the Android is very sports bike based. And I always thought the look of sports bikes were cool, like biker wear, because bikers jackets, leather jackets, everything gets associated with bikers as well. The biker gloves, which is something that I also really like to, and have also worn in the past. So when I made the avatar, and gradually as time went on, I was like, man, I like the look of that avatar. I kind of want to actually look more like that avatar in a way. So eventually I did get like a jacket, like a bootleg Ducati jacket, because the actual Ducati stuff obviously is expensive as fuck. So don't feel bad if you have to get a bootleg. I also had this light. You can't see it. I have a ton of jackets. You could probably see the ones in the back as well. I have like this coat rack. There's also a Leon. I'll post the picture. Friends got me this Leon jacket. It's very heavy, so unfortunately it can only be worn in very cold weather, but it's very wonderful looking, and I appreciate it. I have like this military looking jacket in the back that has like a furred hood, and it has some patches on it. I put like Resident Evil style patches. I probably have pictures of that somewhere. If I find them, I'll post them. That particular jacket is a designer jacket, but it was on discount at either Burlington Coat Factory or Ross or something. So there are places like that where you can actually get, which is cool. You know, you don't have to break the bank. You can actually find some of this stuff at discount stores, like way half, like discounted off. Find things like that. There's also a SMT5. It's like some limited jacket that they made. I did get help pre-ordering that jacket, so a lot of these things they either got on discount or friends have helped and things like that. So there are ways to acquire items to look good, to make yourself look, and if you want to look cool or whatever. There are ways to do it without actually because for me, it isn't, I'm not the kind of person who's going to be like, oh, this, because there's some certain clothing that exists that people buy for the brand itself. and how much value is associated with that brand. Even if like that clothing item has no fucking personality at all. It could be like the plainest looking shit ever, and it has like a brand attached and like, oh, guess what? I bought this brand shirt. I spent this much money, and I'm just like, but it looks like shit. It just like, that's why I think I just like it. Okay. Like, it doesn't look like anything. It's like, it looks so plain. Like, it says nothing about you. It says you don't have any personality. All you have is money, I guess. I don't know if that's a bad take to have, but if you're gonna acquire things cheap, you do it, you know. Who cares if it's like the legit brand or if you spent like dumped a bunch of money, you know, as long as you look cool, right? As long as it makes you feel like good wearing it. I think that's all that matters. But yeah, I've been trying to go get back into walking around town again and I had some few rough years, so I'm trying to, you know, reverse the clock a little bit, get back in shape and get back in better health, and also find ways to improve my mental health that does not involve like, you know, chemicals or anything like that. Just trying to find natural ways of boosting my confidence and my mental health and everything like that. So one of my methods, the reason I'm sharing this video, is hey, maybe you could try it. Try the Jackal, what do you call this? The Jackal strut or something? Put on a cool jacket, find a cheap ass cool looking jacket that says you wear the shades, go out in the sun, you know, walk around town with a fucking tea or coffee in your hand and act like you're going somewhere important while you're walking. You know, act like you're enjoying life, fake it if you need to. That's what I call the Jackal method. The Jackal jacket method. I don't know, try it. You know, I want to hear, if you liked hearing me talk about my journeys with jackets, if you were a jacket enjoyer or appreciator of jackets and fashion, and you like stuff like that, and you feel like wearing such things have a positive effect on you, I want to know. Or if it's not something you tried yet and you want to try it, do it. You know, if it's something you can acquire, you know, get something that makes you feel good about yourself, walk around town, show your feathers off or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. Like I said, I don't care if you're a trash goblin. I don't care what status you are, you know, what you are in life. Just go out. Go outside, go walk around, enjoy the sun, the air, wear something nice, you know, exude, give the good vibes. See if you can exude some good vibes and maybe catch some other people in those good vibes. I'm pretty sure, you know, based on my experience, and I'm not even like, I don't even consider myself like, you know, I consider myself a trash goblin. I consider myself a trash goblin. I'm certainly, I'm a gremlin-esque person, you know. I sometimes hole out of my gamer cave, and I'm an introvert and everything like that. I'm not like exactly, I don't consider myself a geekachad, but you can fake it. You can fake it. So I want to know if you do this thing, or if you're a jacket appreciator, you know, what your stories of positivity and confidence are. I'm very curious. And also, if you like me doing this stuff and actually talking about shit about my life, you're interested in this channel, let me know too. Subscribe or whatever. Cause I might actually do more of this. I think it's good because I would rather, like I said, I'd rather make videos where I'm doing the thought vomit in person in the meat self instead of just spewing that out on social media and it just getting lost and buried and lost in the void. So if you like seeing me, you like hearing me run my mouth and talk about random shit like this, and it makes you feel good, please let me know. So you have a wonderful day.